Welcome to Phasmaphobes, the podcast where the lights go out, the EMF starts to spike, and the line between the living and the dead grows dangerously thin. I'm your host, Declan, and these are my two beautiful co-hosts, Lydia and Lauren.
Bosh.
And tonight we're going to come to you with a story of the Enfield Poltergeist.
Welcome, guys. Let's
go.
I have only a few small facts, but I have Enfield obviously comes from the Anglo-Saxon word Enfield, I believe, but I don't know if I'm saying that right because I'm not an Anglo-Saxon.
So on that Google thing where you get it to pronounce.
Well, I did.
She's neither Anglo or Saxon.
I'm neither of them, and I did do that, and it just said NFL, but like in a bit of an accent. And
I thought the NFL was like the National Football League of America.
but that
something.
means open land of Enna, and apparently Enna was the man's name.
Which
man?
Which man?
I don't know.
The man.
This is just
the man.
The man
Is
of
it
the
the
Saxon
original
my
man?
my knowledge is very limited with what I come with, so just like
Lauren
grain of
Pearcey is
salt,
from Wheatley
grain of
Hill.
salt, exactly.
Lauren Pearcey.
Yeah, look for Wheatley Hill on the map. You won't find
You
it.
will never find one.
So obviously it first appears in the Domesday Book in 1086, and the Domesday Book is the oldest government book record held in National Archives. So it first comes up as a farming settlement. So that's what
Doomsday.
it's in the Domesday Book, which is like the oldest government record held in the National Archives.
That sounds
So it's
ominous,
like-
doesn't it?
We'll have to pull some more research.
And it comes up in-
Do a full
some-
episode
yeah,
about the Doomsday.
the Doomsday Book.
Well, it's a big book apparently.
It's
But
it's a big book.
Enfield shows up in like 1086, so it's like 1,000-year-old, I
Uh-huh.
believe. So, yeah, that's my early history as of now. But I have other things, but I feel like I'd rather interject them
Okay.
The Doomsday Book.
as and when I can.
The Doomsday Book.
It was an engraving published in 1900.
So it's a published book now.
As a Great Doomsday, which is the larger volume, and Little Doomsday, which is the smaller volume. In their 1869 bindings lie their older Tudor bindings. Is what it says. Oh no, sorry. It says also known as Great Survey, Liber de Wintonia, date 1086, and it's written in medieval Latin.
Oh, so Declan could read it then.
Oh, definitely.
Well,
No,
I
'cause he
fancy
doesn't know
just
what
the
he's
Little
reading.
Doomsday. 'Cause that
A Little
seems a bit more
Doomsday doesn't
optimistic.
seem as ominous,
Doesn't seem
does
as
it?
threatening, does it?
Doesn't seem as bad.
So the reason Lauren's telling you about Enfield, because we didn't actually say,
That's true.
is because we're going to talk about the Enfield Poltergeist.
the little wee poltergeist of Enfield.
It
I
wasn't
mean, of course we are. Everybody
was
else does.
probably the biggest
If you didn't
poltergeist
know-
story in Britain,
What-
if not the world.
I don't know what you mean. I think it's quite a niche story for us to be talking about. I wouldn't say there's
It's
many
definitely
podcasts
not.
out there about this.
Definitely not a film
Yeah.
or two.
It's a movie.
TV
Um,
series.
Have we watched this movie before? I don't know.
So the lovely town of Enfield is predominantly council houses. It's very unsuspect.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a haunted house like in Scooby-Doo with a moat
Yeah.
and a suit of armour. It is a semi-detached council house on Green Street.
Your average home.
And in 1977, a single mama called Peggy Hodgson lived there with her 4 children, Billy, Johnny, Margaret, and Janet.
Very 70s names, aren't they?
Damn it, Janet. I love you.
Damn it.
Um,
I feel like it's the 70s. 70s
So-
tribe.
Yeah.
Peggy
Imagine
was
that, yeah.
stretched, looking after 4 chewy children.
4 chewy children.
Yeah, our house was small, it was noisy, but it was like a family home. And business was usual until the August of 1977,
Mm-hmm.
when something strange began to happen inside of the house. Would you like to know what?
Do tell me
We'll have to
more.
know, won't we?
So, Janet, who is the main lady...
Do we know where the dad is? Or
Um,
is that just not a known fact?
I think we can assume
He's just a typical
he's away
man
with another lady.
I think he went out to buy some cigarettes.
and never came back.
He popped to Tesco 10 years ago.
We're still waiting on his return.
So Janet
Mm-hmm.
is the star of this story.
Right.
And one night she was playing with her brother in her bedroom, as children did. And they started to hear a strange noise, like a shuffling or a banging noise.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a bit freaked out. They ran downstairs and Peggy's, she's on the couch having a fag.
As you do.
reading the paper.
As you do.
A
The paper.
typical
She's
70s
reading
mum.
the paper. And the,
Paper.
and the kids come down, they're like, Mum, we've heard something untoward, can you come upstairs? And she's like rolling her eyes at them and she's like, whatevs.
Whatever's cute.
She goes upstairs to prove to them that nothing's happening. And shebang, what she called Janet. I was gonna say Jane.
Oh, wee Jane.
So Janet's chest of drawers shoots across the room.
Oh yeah, it shuts the door, doesn't it? Like in the movie.
So,
In the
as
film.
if it was on wheels, but it wasn't. It
Right.
moved very easily on its own. And Peggy was like, "Buh."
So she's seen it move. Like Peggy's seen it with her
there's
own
three
eyes.
kids. There's 2 kids in that room, and Peggy has now seen the
It
chest of
moved.
drawers move.
Yeah.
So she's like crapping herself,
Uh-huh.
and she doesn't know what to do. So she runs downstairs. She goes next door. She grabs the fella from next door, and she's like, "What do I do?" He takes one look at this moving chest of drawers, and he's like, "See ya."
Mhm.
So he dips, and then she's scared. Our kids are obviously like feral because they don't know what's going on. So she does the very strange thing that not many people do. She called the police. And as a testament to the fact this is clearly the 70s, the police came out.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
Instantly.
the
I
70s.
do have a video of said police interview.
Oh,
So,
do sure.
would you like to share with us what the police discovered at 284?
Well, if you would just like to watch the interview,
Go on,
I
then.
can always just give you it. You know what
So
I mean?
what's this? The interview with Janet?
No, this
The
is
mum.
this is the two actual responding police officers
To the
talking
situation.
about what they experienced
Oh.
when they got there. Oh wait, there we go.
That's loud.
reported seeing an armchair levitate across the Hodgson's living room.
It came off the floor, or maybe a ½ inch, I should say, and I saw it slide off to the right, about 3.5 to 4 feet before it came to rest. I checked to see whether or not it could possibly have slid along the floor. I placed a marble on the floor to see whether or not the marble would go in the same direction as the chair did.
I placed a marble on the floor.
So they think she's got a wonky floor.
Yeah, well, they're gonna try anything to like. They're gonna try anything they can to like explain it,
Make
and like
it makes
say
sense.
that, yeah, make it make sense.
But-
or
The
Oh,
top and
that's so
bottom of
cute.
what happened is these police came to the house. They saw.
So they
a
seen it
fat-
happen as well.
They saw a fat armchair move by itself,
Yeah.
and they then had to release a statement saying that.
Being like a fat armchair move.
Yeah, which
so there is a police report that was filed that day, which I haven't been able to find just yet, but I'm pretty sure we
Yeah,
can
they are
Yeah.
there
find it,
somewhere.
and I'll insert it right here. But that is two on the beat police officers, as was said, that testified that this happened.
On a side
That's
note,
crazy, that,
Something.
because it just gives it so much like levity.
the way they speak.
Leverage.
If you've
Leverage,
seen that
levy.
video and it's like interviewing kids in the 60s about what they think the world's going to be like now. And have you not seen it? Because you're looking at me absently.
No, I feel like
And
no,
it's like,
I've seen it.
I feel like I
do
have.
rather think that there'll be flying cars and,
Yeah.
and a sandwich might be more than a tuppence. Have you seen it?
And
That's
they've
what
all, they've all
I think
got very
I have-
posh little voices
yeah,
like this.
yeah, they do as well. I
I
think I
do
have
think
seen
there
that.
may be war. And you think,
Well,
Everybody will be friends in the future.
yeah. I will fly to see my
Well,
great papa in my
Not the
papa
way Keir
hovercar.
Starmer's going.
So,
okay, yeah.
the police
It's not
were
time
no
for your
help.
political rants right now.
We'll swiftly move on.
Yeah, bypass that.
The police were no help, obviously.
Shock.
Yeah.
So that hasn't changed from the 70s.
It's not illegal to
50
be a
years have
ghost,
passed,
unfortunately, you
but-
know what I mean?
Yeah.
True. I mean, they can't do much, can they?
No.
So Peggy
let
was like, what do I do now? She gets in touch with the church. The church come out, they're like, no.
Sorry.
Sorry, no, we're not
There
dealing
is
with this
nothing
one.
more
There's
I can
no
do for
room.
you.
In the inn.
And so she's a bit, like, lost until she gets a helping hand from a guy called Maurice Gross. Or Morris Gross. but
Morris Gross.
Spelt Maurice.
But yeah,
Like rice at the end.
Yeah.
Maurice.
It's Maurice.
What an awful name.
And he was a bit of a hun.
It's a proper name of the 70s though, but yes, he was a bit of a hun.
A fella called Maurice Gross.
Yes, Maurice.
Who was a member of the Society of the Psychical Research, became the lead investigator in Peggy's spooky house. He actually lost his daughter in a tragic car accident a year before, and I think that made him want to help these young girls in this family. It was like stepping back into his
He had a
own
little bit of
shoes.
a fatherly outlook on the situation.
And he actually stayed with them for about a year.
What, lived with them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And in that time, he had other investigators come and help him out, and they got a hell of a lot of evidence.
So did he live with them just to capture evidence of what was going on?
Yeah, I guess for Peggy and the kids, it was comforting to have
a man in the house.
Yeah.
Since Dad went and got the milk and never came back.
Yeah, and it's not like that night was an isolated incident. Like, near enough every single day something was happening to the point where they didn't know what to expect next. And it seemed to ramp up. There was more and more things going down every day. So he came, he did a few bits of investigating. He had cameras and tape recorders and what have you. And he got evidence of things setting on fire spontaneously. So like an oven mitt would set on fire, but then it would also blow straight out.
And you just can't really, like, give that any
Yeah.
reason, do you know what I mean? Like, that's just not something that would randomly happen.
I guess a lot of people have suspicions on the whole thing, but we'll get into that a bit later.
Yeah.
As to why they speculate that it might not be true. But the biggest bit of evidence that really spooked everyone, and I guess was the reason that there's a Conjuring 2, is because Janet started to speak like a man.
Oh, yeah.
She had a completely different voice. It was very gruff. And she was talking as if she was a man called Bill Wilkins.
Oh, so he had a name?
My name's Bill.
I think I've got a little bit of her talking. 2 seconds.
What, is this her being Bill?
Her talking,
like Bill talking through her?
Yeah.
It very much could be the wrong bit of the
That's
video,
okay.
but I think I remember it's about 4 minutes in.
No, she came in to us, because it wasn't her, she came in. We sat together and we heard it. And I counted down my knocks and there was 14 altogether. And it's doing it again now.
That was 3 knocks just now.
Yes, it goes in 3s and 2s. Now we first got contacted, this was when Mr. Gross said, if there's anyone there, knock twice for yes, and if not, one for no.
I wonder if we did that now, whether it would answer. Is anybody there?
She did in 2012. Last time I seen her in 2012.
Fuck off. She was still
Just
around.
for the sake of that
So
bit,
anyway, I will find it. And I'll,
for the sake of that bit, can we put in?
Yeah, we can put in the interview bit.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's 12 minutes long, so let's put the whole thing in. But we'll.
No, I just meant the actual bit where she's talking.
Yeah,
we'll
is that where she does the gruff right voice thing?
Yeah, it's just hard to find the right time because she looks the same all the way through.
You'll probably be able to find clips of like the.
I've got like the full interview.
Yeah.
But it's just very long.
Yeah.
So anyway, Janet was talking like a man, and
I think I might have found.
Well, perhaps perhaps you've got something to say, son.
Yeah. I'd like to know how you make this noise without bashing Janet's vocal cords to pieces. If I do it for half a minute, I get a sore throat. Joe?
Guy Lyon Playfair is an author of books on the paranormal, with experience of poltergeist cases in Europe and Brazil.
How do you do it, mate?
God, Vicky, showers.
Don't you ever get a sore throat, Janet?
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
You never get pain in the back of the neck or something?
No. Oh, what do you mean? I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not with you. What? I feel,
You with me now? With me?
Sensation in the back of the neck. Yeah.
Well, tell us about that.
I don't know how to
No, tell me
explain
about that. You get it? Do you get it now? Buzzing in the back of the neck.
Yeah.
Do you feel it vibrating as if it was sort of
No, like someone.
Someone
Put
what?
their hand on the back of my neck like that.
That's weird, that, like.
so on the interview I watched on this morning from 2012, she was on there and she was on with that guy. Is it Guy Leon or Lion Playfair? Which
Is
was
this
another
the copper?
investigator.
Oh, right,
There was another
okay.
investigator that was with them.
Right.
And she said that she could hear the speaking, but she felt like someone was saying it from behind her. Didn't feel like it was coming out of her.
So, like, it's coming through her. Or, like
as if there's some...
So it feels like to her, someone's saying it behind her, but it's coming through her.
I was watching something this afternoon, and it was... The guy was saying the part of their vocal cords that they're using is the upper bit that we don't normally use. We tend to use like the lower larynx or something, but it's the upper one
it's not
that
a typical...
the noise is coming from.
Yeah.
So it's not typical with the voice range. So he's like, that's probably where they're controlling it from.
That's crazy.
So they did get a vocal coach or like a speech therapist to come out and assess her, and they were absolutely terrified, left and never came back. And they just said, there ain't no way this little girl's, 1, making that noise, but 2, sustaining it for up to 3 hours, sometimes without a break.
And it not hurting her.
Yeah, so on there, obviously, she went from talking normally to talking like that. But there's evidence of her speaking like that for 3 hours.
That's crazy.
But
because you think it would hurt, wouldn't you?
The strangest part about the voice is that they start to interview the man.
Right.
They're asking him questions now, not Janet.
Or like interview the man through her.
Yeah, so it's as if this man's inside of her giving responses, and they were really intelligent responses, so...
That'd be so crazy to witness, wouldn't it?
So,
like something out of what they're knowing of a young girl.
Yeah, that's like wild.
So they found his name was Bill Wilkins, and apparently he died in the house in an armchair, and before he died he went blind, and then I think he had a brain hemorrhage, and that's what he said. So anyway, later down the line,
and she's only young, like how's she gonna know things like that?
Well, that's the thing. Could she have known that?
I don't know like, I mean, I might have been a dummy 11-year-old to be fair. Exactly, so I might not be the brightest, but I don't think I'd know like what a brain hemorrhage is at 11.
But what's incredible, Lauren, is that not only did she say all those things, but Bill Wilkins' son confirmed the whole thing.
Shut up, man.
Down to him dying in the armchair, going blind just before he died.
And how the fuck would she know that?
Everything was bob on, and it's like it's the late 70s. You can't just Google how the guy who lived in your house died.
She's not got something in her hand to be able to tell her.
Find all that
and it's not like a neighbour would tell her in grave detail. A child.
That's mad.
For me, that's probably the most interesting part of the whole thing.
Yeah, because it gives it so much like lenience. Like lenience? I just said the wrong word.
Potentially.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm not meaning lenient. I mean like
leverage. Again.
No. See,
Linda's fan.
Definitely.
It gives it so much credibility.
But like a better word. There's a word that begins with an L that means credibility. Not like your word was bad, but I swear there's a word with an L that means credibility. I might be lying.
I think you might be
but
lying.
Maybe I'm very much smarter than all of you. in real life.
Trustworthiness,
definitely it.
reliability, dependability, integrity, character, reputation, standing.
Integrity might be right.
Integrity.
So put that in the sentence then. Go on.
No, I don't want to now.
Right, well, let's just forget about it, basically.
Well, what I mean is it's got a lot of fucking give to it.
It's got a lot of give.
It seems legit.
Legitimacy!
That was legitness. Yeah, it was, huh?
Just there was an L, and it's legitimacy. I fucking knew I was new at something.
There we go.
I knew was something.
I knew what. Right. So, anyway.
It's trippy.
What I'm saying is I fucking believe. It's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Legit.
Legitness.
That's legitness.
That is legitness.
Gross tried to debunk the voice in any way he could, because this is like the most fantastic bit of paranormal investigating that's ever happened. And people are going to pick it apart. So he made her hold water in her mouth. The voice would still come out. He also taped her mouth shut, and the voice would still come out. And the voice wasn't the worst thing that happened to Janet.
That would be so scary.
Pulled a thread out of my jean.
That's what the worst thing was that happened to Janet.
Yes.
She pulled a thread from her jean.
So there was photographers from... You probably have the evidence for this.
I do have some.
There was some photographers that set up cameras in the house. They were from the newspaper.
Right.
Just to catch if anything would happen. And they had it on like a continuous shot, so no one had to stand there. The camera was just taking photos every couple of seconds. And they were all over the house, including Janet's bedroom.
So they're just taking pictures for the sake
of children in their bedroom.
Which is problematic now. But given the subject matter, we're going to let this one slide. And there is some really interesting photos here.
Oh, just knocked my mic stand.
See, but that to me, that's something where I'd look at that and be like, well, it's just a kid jumping from a bed.
Which is what everyone has said.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it looks like, isn't it?
So this isn't credible evidence in that sense, but as far as she's concerned, and the way that she tells this story on that interview I saw.
Also, this is the story she tells now.
I've got one of her when she's in like her late 50s.
Yeah.
Talking about it. A video which we'll splice in at some point.
Yeah. There was a series of photos.
Right.
And yeah, it looks like she's jumping out the bed, but to her, she was asleep. She felt something yanking on her and it flung her across the room. Or she classed it as levitating.
There's this one as well.
See, it's like some stuff that happens on it, I'm like, oh, that's so like... See, like that, I'm like, that just... Especially for it to happen in front of a bunch of photographers. She's jumping around.
The way our body is.
That just looks like she's jumped in the air to me.
But
so then
look
that
at
looks
it
like
again.
it's discrediting.
Look at it again and look at her face. To me, she looks absolutely petrified. And she's 11.
Yeah. I don't know.
And if
I think
you see
that
her
makes
now...
me question when seeing that.
Or you see her more recently as an adult.
Yeah.
She's a very timid, very quiet.
Which, I mean, she seems like that on there as well, to be fair.
I mean, it's very pixelated, but...
Becky, I'm podcasting right now.
Lydia's wife is on call, guys.
Hi,
Lydia's
Becky.
wife is on call.
Oh, do you want me to...
Hello.
Hi, Becky.
But I'm going to have to go.
Bye, Victoria.
Was she worried because your phone's on flight mode?
Yeah, she's probably like, where's my wife?
Yes, she's had to go through the computer.
Our location's off!
Yeah, I don't know, that picture, because, like, I get what you mean, like, because I feel like you could look at that face and be like, oh, she looks terrified, but for me, I'm like, it could be, like, putting on a show. I
found this one as well.
I don't know.
We don't know her.
Yeah.
We never met her at that time. We don't
this
know if
one's
she's
really
just...
tiny and it's a little bit awkward, but, like, I found that one.
See, again, I mean, that
Looks
to
like
me...
she's doing press-ups.
Yeah, I do that on my bed when I try and feel like I'm feeling like I'm doing exercise.
When you feel like
And when I want to feel like I feel like I'm feeling. And that doesn't happen very often. I actually do though. Sometimes I'm like, oh, let's do some push-ups and I'll hang off the couch.
There is one of the, I mean, this has been enhanced so you can really focus on the main bit, but like the bed sheet being lifted up.
Do you just clack that with your teeth?
No, me. Oh, no, it was the headset. What's that meant to be?
So that's the bed and
the
being
bed sheet lifted up.
That's got someone's hand behind it though, is it not? Am I on drugs?
Might be Bill Wilkins's.
Bill Wilkins? Bill Wilkins. I don't know, I feel like I can see a hand holding it up. See, like, it's so funny because everything you said in the first part, I was like,
yeah,
I fully believe. But then I see these pictures and I'm like...
Well, that's why I told it in that way, so that we can see...
Background?
It could be Bill Wilkins.
It's Bill Wilkins. I don't know. I feel like the pictures
there's
make
two sides of
disbelieve
this story.
It. Yeah.
And a biggie is why people why people don't believe it is because the young girls were proven to have faked a couple of things.
What, the two younger sisters in the other bed?
Yeah, so Janet and Margaret. So there was two brothers, two sisters.
Oh, so Janet's been faking stuff as well.
So people think that
there
because
was something about her.
You can trust her.
You can't trust
Can't
Janet.
trust her. I was about to say that.
You can't trust a Janet.
I don't even know a Janet.
I don't either.
And that's why I don't trust
I don't
them.
believe I've ever met a Janet. See,
She looks cute.
She doesn't look like someone who would like come out with this out. And do you know another thing that does make us think like it could be real is because of like you think now of stuff where we know about stuff and like views and whatever and it gets really popular. People fake stuff for the sake of
that wasn't a thing then.
Not even heard of, and even like hauntings and stuff and like ghost hunting, that wasn't really a thing compared to what it is now.
That's the whole family in like in the living room.
Yeah, like they all look very unassuming. Like it does seem like it couldn't be a hoax.
To respond to that theory, there's always been a need for attention, and she's got a broken family.
Yeah,
Dad's gone, Mum's split between 4 kids.
She wants some attention.
I don't want to assume, but maybe
I feel like
this was
getting
her
all
some
points
attention.
though, isn't it?
No, I think everyone craves attention, and no matter what year it was, maybe it could be that. So the stuff that they got caught out with was, I think they were fannying on with some of the cameras, And also the bent spoons. And
But the
said
kids
that,
were
like,
going around bending
Janet was
spoons.
found bending a spoon, wasn't she? By
Was she?
someone.
Yeah.
But see, there you go. It's like, are they doing it to be like, believe me, like, look at what's actually happening, like,
Yeah.
trying to make it look more believable by adding
But that,
extra facts in, or have they just lied
that
completely about it all?
what's the guy called from the psychological?
Maurice Gross?
Maurice Gross. He had the girls tested if they were able to do like ventriloquism.
Yeah.
All right.
And they weren't able.
But I feel like if you had water in your mouth, it's physically impossible.
I would just choke and die.
Absolutely, I would too. But it
yeah.
would be impossible because, like,
I think-
even a
I
ventriloquist
think
can't
the
have
girls
water in their mouth.
did admit. I don't. This is not gospel, by the way. But I think
Bible.
I think the girls did admit to hoaxing some of the things to dramatise it a bit
That's
more.
what I
for
mean.
the-
Like,
for
I
the-
feel like have they
for
done that
for the media.
for dramatic effect? Or
But there
is it all
was
being lies?
genuinely things happening at the same time.
Because you can see
But-
that, can't you?
Yeah, they've been asked about why they faked certain things.
Mhm.
And it was because they felt like they weren't getting taken seriously, which is ironic for what they've done. But
Yeah.
But obviously the media were involved. Everyone knew about this story. All of the neighbours, all the kids in school, like, everyone was talking about it, and not everyone believed it. And
Which, I mean, still
and if
people
you-
this day don't do that.
yeah, and if
so-
you feel like you're going through that and you genuinely think it's real, would you then add some bits in
So
to
people do
try and
believe
get
you?
and maybe to get help as
And
well?
I guess,
because
like,
nothing
at
was
11.
getting nothing was getting solved. The ghost was still terrorising them, even though
Because,
Mr.
like, what
Gross
can they
was
do
there.
to result? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if something that's not there,
Yeah.
what can people do to resolve that situation?
I mean, they're sending.
I know you
priests
do
and
like your
exorcisms
exorcisms.
and- yeah,
and
but
you get your Ditney out and whatnot.
you get your
but you did
Essence
sticks
of
out.
But the consensus was that it was a poltergeist, and the story is known as the Enfield Poltergeist. And a poltergeist comes from German. It's a
German?
German word, and it means noisy spirit.
Noisy spirit.
And the typical signs of a poltergeist are knocking, objects moving, furniture sliding, and items being thrown, which we all know from Phasmaphobia.
Oh no.
I do love it.
I love making a pile.
It's a demon.
Only if I've died before I've got out the van. And it's very common for poltergeist reports to happen in a house full of teenagers or specifically young girls. And that's not a weird thing. That's down to emotional stress, hormones, and psychological energy.
Yeah.
And that's supposedly attractive to a cheeky spirit. He's kicking them when they're down. And there's a lot of angst. And in that house there was
Yeah.
like an 11-year-old, and I think
I
Margaret
feel
was
like
13.
ghosts tend to do that though. Like, it's a thing with like kids being more susceptible to that kind of
Yeah.
thing, isn't it? Like, I wonder if it's like because of adults we just kind of like think everything's a trick of the mind or
And
it
we
didn't
don't have
actually
time.
happen. Yeah.
Are
Whereas
kids
like
a bit
when
more sensitive to certain things?
or are they just like has like the veil not been like lifted yet so kids can see
Yeah.
all of that stuff? Like,
Yeah.
did we see stuff when we were younger and we just can't remember? Like,
Well, you had an imaginary friend, didn't you? Mrs.
Well,
Wobbly Wobbly Chicken
what
Legend.
my mum thought was an imaginary friend.
chicken legend.
Yeah.
Who was she?
Little Minnie.
Oh my god, she was called
Your
Minnie.
mum's house is full of ghosts though.
Little old Minnie.
Oh, little Minnie.
Well, this is our
Stan.
old house. Is the house that I was born in. Well, not born in, but there was the house that I grew up
in
the
in.
kitchen
Until I was
sink.
7. Yeah, there was little Minnie who I used to sit and talk to in the front bedroom.
Can you remember her?
weirdo.
I can.
What did she look like?
The Aunt Bessie's logo woman.
Yes, you did tell me.
Yeah.
You did tell me. Oh yeah, because then I
Did she
opened
do a
up
good
about
pudding?
Granny Zigzag, didn't I?
Yeah.
What's Granny Zigzag?
Granny Zigzag was
Zigzag.
completely made up by me. She wasn't an imaginary friend because I'm too sensible for that.
I just know.
But
I know
I
it was
needed
fake.
someone to talk to when my sisters couldn't be bothered. And so Granny Zigzag was born, and she was from New Zealand, and she had a theme park.
Do you know what? I wish I had a Granny Zigzag, but I had 1,000 siblings to grow up with.
I mean, I had siblings
You
that
did, to be
just
fair,
weren't
we grew up-
interested.
We grew up with the same amount of siblings, to be fair. What?
Are
was
you watching
that?
Reels?
No, that wasn't Aunt Bessie's advert because I was googling the logo.
Little Aunt
Declan's
Bess.
like, put Aunt Bessie's in here. Because the British public don't know what our Queen Aunt Bessie looked like. She's got the white wig.
If there's any American audiences, they won't know Aunt Bessie, will they? Our English audience will.
Americano.
You can barely see her. I'll put her bigger on the pod, but
Oh, a little mini.
up there, that's kind of
Yeah,
what
I
she
said
looked
she
like.
had white hair. I don't know what Aunt Bessie looks like.
That's Colonel Sanders.
That is Colonel
You
Sanders.
got KFC.
He's
too,
just
wouldn't
an outline. I said this the other day.
Well, Becky didn't. I was driving past KFC and she was like, "Don't you think he looks really ghostly?"
Yeah, and I was like, that's because he's an outline, Becky.
He is dead, after all.
Oh, Colonel Sanders.
It's really sent a shiver up my spine.
She's like, oh.
Oh, he looks very ghostly these days.
Oh, you spooky chicken legend.
By 1979.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, right, okay,
yes.
yeah, let's get back to
Back
the story.
to it.
By 1979, the activity had pretty much
Stop.
ceased.
And so she's obviously a lot older at this point. Is it many years after, too?
It's 2 years.
2 years. So she's
So
like
she's
saying
Yeah, still a
puberty.
child. She's still a child.
She's a child.
Allegedly, Mr. Gross paid for the family to go to Disneyland.
Terrible name.
What, as in the one in America?
Sorry.
Was it the Paris one or the American?
Well, the Paris one
Euro
wouldn't have been
Disney,
open.
I assume.
Oh,
But it
okay.
wouldn't have been open. Not in that time period.
Oh,
Let me fact
right,
check
we
this.
need a fact check.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Blooper,
Hang on.
blooper.
Disneyland
Well-
Paris opened in like the 90s.
I think producer Alfred is...
Producer Alfred. Sorry, we didn't
He's
even
on it.
introduce
Googling.
producer Alfred.
Yeah, you didn't. Shameful. Disneyland Paris opened on the 12th of April 1992.
Oh, shit. So,
Yeah.
So he took them to Florida.
to America.
Or where else? Hollywood.
Bollywood.
He took them to Disneyland Bollywood. Until I get my facts from ChatGPT. Did Lloyd Grossman,
Benny didn't... Oh,
called?
it's all a lie, man. He didn't even take them to
did
Hoax.
Maurice Gross take the
That was me.
This one for no.
to Disney?
Disney.
I was trying to write.
I was gonna say.
Based on search results, there is no information indicating
Right, so bear in mind, people,
all to Disneyland, isn't it?
if I
Lydia
can,
tells a lot of lies.
if I
Just
can
saying.
go
If
onto my
AI
home
tells
computer
Lydia it's true.
and find where I got this information from, I am going to put it on here
Okay.
to what would you say, defend myself.
Yeah. Well, if we can find the
you-
evidence,
yeah,
we'll
if you
put
get
it
the
in.
If
evidence.
not, I edit this podcast, so I'll just cut this bit
This
out.
bit out, yeah. To be fair.
But anyway, back to what I was saying.
Anyway,
if we forget about
more
Euro
lies.
Disney. Lauren, you've actually inputted one sentence into this whole podcast.
Fuck off, so is he.
He's had facts and receipts.
I just tell you
I've got
what
more
here as
to
well. In 2016, a psychologist, Chris French, in Time Out magazine described 5 reasons why he believed the case had been a hoax. So, and this is based on like other evidence that's out there. So his reasons were that the 2 sisters involved obviously had admitted to hoaxing some of the activity. The photo of Janet levitating above her bed could be just as easily explained as
Yeah,
Janet
that's what we were
jumping.
saying.
Yeah, that's what we said.
The spirit of an old man who supposedly possessed Janet took a great deal of interest in menstruation, apparently.
Well, like, period.
Yeah. It says further explanation needed, so 2 seconds on that one.
Are you having a Bill Wilkins? Good job, Lydia. You can't have a Bill Wilkins.
I am hollow.
Scooped her out.
Like a pumpkin.
Eyewitnesses are notoriously unreliable, and other schoolgirl pranks before and after just got out of hand. Is basically his only explanation. As far as it goes, it looks like a lot of it was as genuine as you could call it, if you know what I mean. There's a few other bits on here as well. They also say that her voice originated from Janet producing, or the noise produced by Janet was by using false vocal cords above the larynx. So it's the same one that like metal vocalists use for more like gutturals. And her voice had the phraseology and vocabulary of a child, which was another thing that was kind of used against them by skeptics.
She just learned how to use that part of her larynx.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So imagine like Alex
I
Terrible.
couldn't imagine an
or something like that.
11-year-old doing that though. Like, where would she come up with
Because
that for?
the thing is, she might have had like a little touch of schizophrenia or something. She might have been hearing things, but it might.
It's very elaborate
it might,
though for an 11-year-old to come up with.
I mean, it is, but.
But what's
the
more
mind,
elaborate?
The mind's very
that
powerful.
or a poltergeist?
I'd believe it. I think
yeah,
I'd
but
believe
then-
a poltergeist more than an 11-year-old.
I did watch an interview earlier on of a woman who lived down the street, who witnessed whilst in their house the settee levitate, rotate, and drop. How
Like a game of The Sims.
how can
Like
the girls
tetanus.
how could the girls do
Tetanus.
that?
Tetris.
How could
Tetanus.
Fucking
but you would see string and they would like pulleys and everything
Just
and
like really, really thin string. Do you
Yeah.
remember that video?
it's
of
also
the-
1970 it's like 1977.
Yeah.
Like how did they do things? If it is all a hoax.
I don't know, maybe the area is haunted. Like, just in general, like, because, like I said at the beginning, Enfield's, like, an old settlement. It has, like, other, like, paranormal things happened around that area, like the Enfield Beast. It was, like, a panther animal thing that people seen in the early 2000s, but, I mean, it's never been captured nor pictured. So it's a folklore, like, type thing, but I feel like that kind of area has things like that happening quite a lot, like
It's a bit spooky.
Unexplainable things that are happening in that area. So like maybe that area as a place is
It's
just
a spook.
yeah, like obviously if something's been around for thousands of years, you've got to think of all the different types of like things that have happened there. Like we were saying before about like the imprint on stone and
Stone
like
tape theory.
yeah, like all that stuff. Like you've got to think if it's been around since like 1086. A lot of shit's gonna have happened there. Like there's a lot of residual things happening there. Like maybe the place itself is just a haunted or like more susceptible area to do that kind of things, or like people are affected in that area. I don't know, maybe it's just not necessarily the house, but Enfield itself might be some sort of
But how did
weird-
she know the name?
Exactly.
Unless
That's-
his name was engraved somewhere inside the house, or like
Would it have
there
been
was a
more?
letter. I mean, didn't he supposedly die 50 years before
I'm not sure.
the girls were there?
I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure.
And
I
I'm
heard
sorry,
that.
so that would have been 1920s when he's died.
Yeah.
Like, however.
I'm pretty sure I've got that on.
I don't know, there's just some stuff in that I feel like you're saying with the whole, like, upper larynx thing. Like, I just can't imagine an 11-year-old being able to know that they're going to come in and test her with a mouthful of water to learn to do that with her voice. Like, I don't know, I just can't imagine.
Well, so I don't think she'll have done that for that reason. She'll have just figured out that she can use that part of her throat and then use it to her advantage. And then, thankfully, when she had a mouthful of water, she didn't realise, which was still able to use that part of her vocal cords.
I feel like that's so, like, I feel like that feels more far-fetched to me than
He didn't die
the
50
ghost.
years before. He died on the 20th of June, 1963. He was 61 years old when he passed away.
So it was like 10 years before.
He died of a brain hemorrhage. In the
we-
chair of the living room.
Yeah, we
So that chair, I mean, it doesn't say anything online, but...
I want the chair.
Well, is that the chair that the policewoman saw levitate?
Yeah, it is.
Because in the film, it's all about that chair, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the film's obviously dramatised a lot.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I like that film, bar from The Crooked Man. I feel like, I don't know if that's not everyone else's opinion, but the whole film is itself was such a good film.
Until The Crooked Man bit.
Until that part happened, because it just felt so far-fetched from everything else that happened in the story.
They just dramatise stuff, don't they?
But it's
They want
it's
to ruin
playing on
it.
this young kid's mind. It's the things that it's this kid's imagination that the spirit's
Yeah, I don't know.
messing with.
I thought it ruined it for me. Like everything else in that film, like I was like, this
I feel
could
like
happen.
they ruined the last rites with when they made Annabelle like turn giant in it.
Oh, so I've not
Yeah.
watched it.
Oh, if you've not seen it, oh, sorry,
I'm not that
spoilers.
bothered.
Spoilers.
Good,
Spoilers.
but it was
I'm not
bizarre.
But yeah, that bit ruined the
They do
entire
that with a
film
lot
for
of
me.
movies, so
yeah.
I feel like they put so much stuff into it where it makes it unbelievable to the point where you're like, well, this has ruined the movie.
Do you know what Ed and Lorraine Warren's daughter's called?
Lorraine Ed.
Janet.
Is she actually?
She's called Janet, yeah. Janet must have just
Was she
been
born
a
before
thing.
this, though?
I don't know.
Aye.
Interesting
Tell
fact.
you who will know.
When people say that Ed and Lorraine Warren investigated the Enfield Poltergeist, allegedly what actually happened was that they showed up to the house and were swiftly kicked out by the existing investigators, Maurice and Guy Lyon.
Oh.
So they didn't even get to investigate the property. A lot of people say that whilst they were kind of welcomed in the US, they weren't as kind of popular.
I've got a video here of Janet saying that they were welcomed in and they really enjoyed having Ed and Lorraine there.
Yeah, there's another source here.
Is that recent?
That's from 2016.
So in 2016, they came back to the house, Margaret and Janet, and that was because of the film. I'd assume Margaret and Janet got some...
Because isn't that when the film come out, 2016?
Yeah, I think so.
It's
So they went back to the house. They were a bit creeped out. They said it was strange to be back and it brought back a lot of memories. But there's actually been no reports of hauntings in that house since they left. And
so maybe, like
I was
said,
looking at it
maybe
on
it's just
Google
her.
Earth earlier and it's very unsuspecting.
Yeah.
The only weird thing was, which I mentioned to you, is that
It's blurred out.
on one view it's blurred and on the other view it's not.
Bill might be at the window on one of them.
Bill Wilkins.
Bill Wilkins.
My name is Bill Wilkins.
I don't know. Like I say, I feel like maybe the place is haunted. Like there's a few different things
Maybe
that
she's
happened
haunted.
in that area. Maybe she's haunted.
She
like,
hasn't been bothered since either.
Well, that's why I'm like, maybe it's just Enfield itself. Like,
Or
with
maybe
having-
he's there and he can only respond to her or something. Maybe he's like...
Maybe no little girls live there.
Or maybe it's BS.
Maybe it's all bullshit, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean...
It's possible.
It's very possible. More possible than most things.
I don't believe in ghosts. However,
I believe.
The main part of this story that makes me think I can't explain it.
Is it the voice thing?
It's the voice thing,
yeah. Me too.
And I think that it's important to remember that...
Is that jumping for...
You can't explain everything.
Nah.
Nothing's completely explained, and humans aren't like superheroes
Like-
who know everything.
Yeah.
And this is unexplained territory.
Yeah.
Janet also died in 2016. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I got that completely wrong. Janet is not dead. We do apologise for any upset that may have caused. But yeah, let's just get back to the podcast.
I told you she wasn't alive still.
Janet
Well,
died.
She said she'd just seen her on this morning.
Janet died
14 years ago.
The 15th of April 2016 at age 56.
10 years
She
ago?
died awfully young. What did her in?
What did I read?
What stopped her in her tracks?
It was Bill Wilkins.
Doesn't say. She was born in 1960.
She can't have been.
She would have been 17.
Did it start in?
Oh.
Did it start in 76 or
Well, I've got
77?
the wrong fucking Janet Hodgson's, but that's the one that it pulled.
Well, that should be the right one. There's not many.
Was it 76 or 77?
70. Oh no, hang on.
Because if it's 76. 6, 7.
As if you've just added that into
I
the
know.
podcast.
I do apologise.
I'm gonna cut that.
1977 until 1979.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I have the wrong date of death.
Yeah, so...
No,
no, just the date of birth. Or have you got the wrong gravestone?
I think you're misinformed.
No, I've got Peggy's gravestone.
I think you...
All right, yes.
Well,
She is most certainly
Because
dead.
Peggy, birth was
Peggy Leggy.
15th of January 1930 and died
She's old.
14th of October 2003 at age 73.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although she looks really old in 1977.
Poor kid.
I think people
Back then just
back
did
then,
look old.
yeah, like
Yeah.
people our age then looked
like they were
50.
like 54,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah,
And
they
like,
really did, didn't they?
But you know what? It's because
Yeah.
they all had a hard paper round. Really, didn't they?
I mean, I think it might have been the mines, like...
It's not like us just...
probably did you in a bit.
Them
didn't
dusty mines might have done a bit.
Yeah, we've had it pretty easy, really.
I wouldn't
up
mind
to
a
now,
paper round over a
apart
dusty
from
mine.
a pandemic and a potential war against Iran.
It's definitely going to happen.
Let's not have a political podcast.
Trump, like,
Let's-
there
let's-
might be some casualties.
Let's have an
It is
hour.
a risk I am willing to take.
Let's have an hour away from all this shit.
Who's that, Lord Farquaad?
Aye, he sounds like Lord
Farquaad.
He's like, and that is a risk
Some of
I'm
you
willing
may
to
die.
take. Yeah.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
The wires.
Well, maybe if there wasn't 400 wires under my feet.
Watch your feet, Lou.
Thank
you. Yeah, because now I can't hit. Oh, there
and
we
we've
go.
made it to near enough the end of the podcast without me standing on a wire.
Well, I suppose.
How long have we been talking?
Yeah, how long have we been going?
You guys have been going for a grand total of 49 minutes.
Damn, that's good.
Jeez, that is good.
Yeah.
Do you want to... Right, we'll wrap it up.
I mean, if you want to pull something out the bag, we can just see if it works.
I don't know.
If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Maybe it's worth getting some.
I don't know. I don't know. We could do something. I don't know. Like, what could I?
Get your submissions.
Yeah.
Send
If you have an idea for the end, or if you want something we can talk about at the end, we could do like.
Who's she asking this?
The audience. The audience. You know, this podcast we're doing, but we have to.
Oh, is this actually going out to people?
Well, it's only going out to me, ma'am.
Oh, that's who I thought we were doing it for.
Miss Marley Muffin.
That's the only reason I invested financially into this.
Right.
I don't like. I don't know. Like I'm just trying.
You know
to
what
think
would
if
be
this
cool?
is What?
If eventually people wrote in and told us something
Well,
spooky.
Their own
100%.
spooky stories. Yeah, we could do like a story time at the end.
And maybe some recommendations of places we could go, because we are also recreational ghost hunters now.
I ghost hunt recreation.
Ghost hunt pending.
Ghost hunt pending. It's not pending. It's done and it's halfway edited.
We have a ghost hunt that may not reach the wider
May or may
community,
not.
but it might go on a Patreon at some point in our lives.
In the future. Talking about Patreon, I haven't got a single follower yet.
So do we?
At a point in my life.
Yeah, maybe eventually. So that's been our podcast for the day. Does anyone have anything to say goodbye?
I don't think I've got anything else to add
Bye,
of interest.
Bye, bye, my friends.
Oh, I thought you were going to go, bye, bye, baby,
I did as well.
baby, bye, bye.
We all sang it wrong. That's terrible. But thanks for
Well,
listening.
Good night and sleep tight.
Do you believe in Enfield? I don't. Bye.
Bye, 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 bye. Meow.